Fire, lizard, knight,
sword,
right?
You know.
Lightning snake.
Yoink, blah, tickety tick. Yoink, blah, tickety tick. Yoink, blah, tickety tick.
All right, Saturday morning. Here it is. Oh my.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, do we have to take as long to explain this game as it did playing the damn game?
No.
Can we cut this like 2 minutes?
Swords and Sails. No bueno. All right, moving on.
Needlessly complex. It was just crazy.
It had aspects of diplomacy, aspects of Axis and allies, aspects of risk, aspects of this, and it all felt short in all of it because all of it was just too damn complicated. Done.
There is room in my library for a complicated war simulation game. I like games like that, but it has to have some degree of intelligence. And where it all finally just fell apart for me, just completely fell apart.
At the very beginning.
Was the combat. And here's why. I was the Byzantine Empire. The guy next to me was the Russian Empire, Kiev Rus. And we made an agreement. I said, dude, his name was Andy. I'm like, I'm going to attack you, man, because I want to see what happens. He's like, okay, let's do it. Well, he's got a bunch of peasants, so I load up on archers. And I am going to drop peasants with archers like you would not believe. But, yeah, it was a very complex chart on exactly what he had to do. But then you don't get to target intelligently at all. So he had a barrel of peasants and 2 knights. And the knights have 4 armor each. So they absorbed all of the arrow hits. Now imagine that in actuality.
Right.
1,000 peasants, 2 knights that are just running back and forth, stopping all of the arrows. It's nonsense. If you're going to this level of complexity for combat anyway, intelligently target it.
And and the movement to the armies. You had one little piece that represented this huge army that you had on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the war simulation games where, okay, where am I going to move my guys? That's where all the thinking and all the strategy comes in. This one, it was you didn't have too many choices, but oh man, the mental gymnastics you had to go through just to figure out all that combat
it was way too much. Remember what I said about Robotech not bogging down because of the combat? This game hit the combat, and it was just like...
I thought you for sure were going to go to the first thing. Super complex war simulation game, lots of options. I can form allies, yada, yada, yada. Oh, on the first turn, your empire takes these 4 actions. I don't have a choice. No, your empire must take these 4 actions. Or you've got to be kidding me. So why not just start the game
in those
in second turn?
Yeah.
So you're forcing me, because I was the Holy Roman Empire, middle of Europe. You're talking about tactics. Why would, as the Holy Roman Empire, send my 4 armies in 4 different directions?
I thought it was like a demo.
That was a teaching. That was a thing designed to teach us the thing. If I actually owned that game, I would throw those out.
But it's in the game rules.
I would never do it.
The fact that they wrote it down thinking this is a great idea. Somebody thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if we misinterpreted that, but I would definitely throw that out.
First turn. Here are the 4 things.
But maybe that was just something printed up for GenCon.
I asked the guy. I said, "No, these are the."
So when you buy it at the store,
this is what comes out of the box. I'm like, from that point on, I'm like, you're telling me I'm forced to take these actions? I'm already turning away from this game. I don't get to make choices in my first turn.
I think we had a 3-hour block on this game, and I don't think I learned anything about it until 2 hours and 10 minutes. Because that was the other thing.
3 hours, we played a round and a half.
Yeah. And like I said, there's room in my game library for a game like this. I like games like that, but this was too much. I don't like hidden movement games because that means hidden cheating games.
Yeah.
It just does. I'm sorry, it's hidden cheating.
Quick note on his army though. That one little block represented a large army.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what was in the army.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I walked up over the mountain, I could see all your troops. Why would I not be able to see what's inside your army?
And so here Dave comes, and since that's hidden, well, now I got an extra 2 knights here, and
And see, just comparing that
to the hidden cheating game.
Comparing that to like Axis and Allies. Axis and Allies, you can look, see where the big armies are. You can think about where they're going to go, and once you get there, it's just simple dice roll.
Right.
This one was exactly the opposite. It was like simple, overly simple movement, but then once you get to combat, it's bad.
And if you formed an alliance with a correct empire, you wipe off the board in 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was a miss, and unfortunately, it's also called Swords and Sails. Swords and Sails tells me pirate game. Pirate game.
This is a medieval 12th century.
I want a pirate game. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
GenCon sucks. All right. The other thing we did on Saturday, we did more than that, but this is what I wrote down. We also played, I think those were the only two things we had scheduled, but we did a lot of, we did one thing Saturday night, which we'll get to. We also played Tzolk'in.
The Mayan calendar game.
Mayan calendar game.
Interesting mechanics. Yeah.
You go ahead.
You go ahead. Because I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it.
So Dave, go.
In this game, I thought I was so excited about this game when I first sat down because.
I won.
Anyway. So in the middle of the board is this giant wheel that's connected to other gears. So as you click the wheel, the other gears move at the same time, which is incredibly
It's
unique.
really cool.
Incredibly unique. I've never seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's a worker placement game, resource management game, card drawing game. It has a lot of Euro elements to it. I enjoyed the game. I know you're going to disagree, but I think I wasn't a big fan of that. It has an element in the game where you take one action or even two actions and you could leapfrog ahead of everybody else just by doing this one simple action.
4 actions.
So it felt like
I'll elaborate for you. What David's specifically referring to is you got the great big wheel in the middle. These 3 wheels are all the same size. This one over here is a little bit bigger. But what this one is you put your guy on it, and depending on where you take him off, you have to pay 1 crystal skull, and you collect the points.
Mm-hmm.
This wheel over here is where you get the crystal skull, and there's only 1 spot to do it. So what I ended up doing in this game, and it was a bit of a manipulation, but what I ended up doing in this game was I would have a guy over here. I would first put a guy over here, and I'd count him out so I could get him to the maximum amount of points. When he got to the right position, I'd put a guy on the wheel over here for the crystal skull. And so they'd line up perfectly right at the same time. I'd pull this guy off, get the skull, pull that guy off, score the skull. And so that's how I chose to get my points. I think the top one on there is 13.
Mm-hmm.
I got the 13 and the 12. You got the 11. I got the 10 and the 9. And so that's where I got all my points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dave, on the other hand, was playing intelligently.
I wanted to see.
Dave was trying to build a civilization. I was trying to get points.
This game seemed like it was too quick. The wheel went around, I think, too fast because if you got someone that's doing the quick speed
in
run,
a longer game,
get it.
Dave's strategy would have panned out. He would have won.
Like,
in a shorter game,
I think that's how that game is. It goes once around. I don't know.
It is.
Play it too. Or,
And Steve
I wish that you could take longer.
Yeah, and Steve was our teacher. He did a really, really good job.
Steve did a great job.
Except for one tiny little thing he forgot to tell us at the end of the game.
Which one's what?
Oh yeah, every person once during the game you could flip over your card and click the thing twice.
And click the thing twice.
Which would have totally borked his strategy.
It would have. It would have.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely would have. And I enjoyed the game, but it was one of those I'm glad I played. I thought Steve was great. I thought his wife at the other table, I think her name was Chris. She was a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
But this was one of the games on the list that I thought we're gonna play this, and I'm going over to buy it.
Right.
We played it, and I was just like, now I've played it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool with the literal mechanism.
Yeah,
that
that was neat.
The ticking of the calendar.
That
was
was really
so
cool.
unique. But that's
all
it
it
really
is.
left a really sour taste in my mouth. The whole crystal skull thing. I'm like, you do that twice in the game, you have a monster advantage.
And the movie was no good.
And it seemed like we were all like low. We never made it around the little mini circles. All of our other things we were supposed to advance, didn't really advance. But I just think that the game was too short.
I know that we really didn't get into all that game has to offer, but the way I was doing it, you didn't need to.
Right.
Now, the way I was doing it, it's not undefeatable, but what it means is you guys now have to deliberately allocate resources to stop it.
Which takes away from the fun of the game.
It takes away from the fun of the game, and it takes away from what you're actually attempting to do.
I mean, you got to be honest. I mean, at the very beginning of the game, you started with the crystal skull, which
I did.
It was a free 13 points.
Free 13 points. I
So
put the
it's
guy
like-
on there first turn. Now, it took him forever to get over there,
But it's still
still a massive score.
Right.
And that's the thing. You have to allocate resources to stop that. And in that sort of game, should you have to, it derails the game. It is a singular strategy that can impact every other strategy.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was just one of those things. And I just did it over and over and over. And, maybe it was Again, I don't think it's broken, but again, if I can dictate what everyone else is doing, there's some elements there that are
well,
lacking.
you're starting with that crystal skull.
Yeah, which was a random draw.
A little bit
random draw.
You see, I'm a big fan of Czech games editions too. I have a lot of their games, so this one was a miss for me. I know it's really popular. This one I would pass on.
I would pass on. Like I said, I'm really glad I played it. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to own it. So
I have enough worker placement and resource management games.
Yeah.
Plenty of those.
Now the other thing we did on Saturday evening, we went to the Renegade Games GenCon public event. Now,
we're talking about this?
I'm going to talk about it because I got to complain. I got to talk about it. Right. So what Renegade Games wanted you to do was go around to their 5 booths and get 5 stamps. And that was pretty cool. You only need 1 stamp to attend. But all it really boiled down to was drawings. Okay? But when you tell people to show up at 7 o'clock for free stuff, expect the entire convention to show up. And that's exactly what happened. At 7 o'clock, we're collecting your tickets. There was a line that was the entire length of the convention center. Mm-hmm. They eventually got wise to stop running people through the room and started running the room through the people, which is they had workers come out and collect the tickets. And then since they were doing the drawings at 7:15, we had nowhere to sit or relax or anything like that. So now you've got hundreds of people, 1,000 people, maybe even more, all standing around in hallways uncomfortably. It was a cool thing. I was glad they did it. They gave away a bunch of free stuff. That's all good. But it's like, man, just think of a better way. Collect tickets all Saturday, and then at 7 o'clock, we're no longer collecting tickets, and then we'll draw. But then, people can manipulate to go around with 1,000 of these. But if you want to waste your convention going around with 1,000 books, get them stamped, that's on you. And then ultimately, I did win. I won an unreleased game. It's called Chaos Order, which I haven't really looked at yet.
But that was, that didn't work out too well either, because he got to, finally made his way through all the winners, got to his thing and said, oh, here's my number. And they're like, oh, this number, we don't have it. Yeah. Someone had put it in the Discord wrong. And while they're trying to figure out, 5 other people are walking past him, picking up games.
Stuff.
And if he would have wanted that game,
There were seriously like 6 Transformer deck building games left. I know I don't want that. There was a bunch of stuff I didn't. And so when the guy finally figured out what had happened, he said, okay, go. I moved over to the table, and there were 2 people in front of me hemming and hawing over 5 or 6 things that were left. And the worker there just had his hand resting on the biggest box they had left available. So I just said, give me that. And he said, here you go. But yeah, I felt, and what it was, the guy had, he was doing a search in Discord, and there was a typo in it or something.
Yeah.
How can there be a typo? Here's a ticket. Where's the other ticket? Match them up. Come on.
Yeah, they just drew the ticket.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So it was a fiasco.
It was disorganized, to say the least.
I like Renegade Games. They do some good stuff. I was very disappointed with that event just because of the way it was run. They could have done it a little bit better, made it a little bit easier on people. And then I wouldn't have had to stand in the hallway for an hour and a half while they called these things out and get super uncomfortable.
Right.
Anyway, what else do we do on Saturday?
That was in
we did Twilight Inscription.
Twilight Inscription.
We only did it for like 20, 30 minutes. That was the one with the dry erase. You were marking on the 4 boards.
I didn't get enough of a taste of. I didn't get enough of a taste of it to know whether it was good or bad.
That's the one where we had no idea what we're doing, and the guy just like, okay, you do this, now you do that, now you do that.
Yeah, he was definitely quarterbacking the entire game. But again, I want to give that guy a benefit of the doubt because we showed up at 5:20. The convention hall closed at 6. And he was trying to speed rush to just get us a taste. Yeah. So I'm not going to fault him too much. It looked like it could be an interesting game, but I think they have it at $60.
If it's at $60, I gotta try it again.
It's 4 boards that are dry erase.
Dry erase.
I'm like, where's the money? I don't understand I know Twilight Imperium is an incredibly popular game, but I don't see the value at 60 with the pieces and the product.
I didn't like the way they had the demo set up simply because he made you make the choices. Do this on this mat. Do this on this mat. And in a true game, you can do anything you want on any map with each of your turns. I didn't get enough of a taste of it to know if it was good or bad, so so for me, it was an automatic pass. I'm like, I don't know, and at that price point, I gotta know. My gaming dollars is thin.
Yeah, right?
I gotta know.
I was so clueless in that game that I can't even say whether I liked it or not.
Again,
it's totally understandable. I barely understood myself.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on my judgment on that game because I don't think we got a true taste
I-
or run through.
I want to say it's good. I like the company that makes it. I can't guarantee that, so I'm not getting my money.
It was interesting. It's like not like any other game that I
Right,
played
it looked
before,
like it could be
so.
fun, but again, I think $60 is a little too pricey.
Yeah.
A couple more we played that day were
Trapwords. We played Trapwords right after Tzolk'in. Trapwords. You don't even remember. It was the one where I was reading you clues and he had written down.
That's
Trapwords.
right, Trapwords with Megan, who called you out for being too competitive. And say, calm down.
Oh yeah, that was one where you couldn't do the proper names, but I kept using
Right.
the proper names.
And Trapwords,
Yes.
yeah, it was a team. It was a team game where each other team was given a word that they had to say to their partner.
Had to give clues to your partner.
Give clues to their partner,
So it would-
and then each team would write down certain words that they could not say. You know, it had elements of taboo. I don't know if you ever played
Yeah,
taboo.
yeah, taboo.
Very
We'd get a card, like if Jason and I were on a team, we'd get a card that was like dragon. And so I know that I'm going to be given this card for Dave and his teammates. So we're going to write down 5 or 6 words they cannot say.
Like
Yeah.
fire,
So-
lizard, knight,
sword.
right.
You know.
Lightning snake.
And if I was said any of those words during my clue giving,
It's automatic.
it's automatic loss. And that's right.
It was a party game, but like a lot of party games with this, there's a lot of different interpretations for the rules and stuff that yeah.
No proper nouns. Bond from Billy Joel. No proper nouns. Billy Joel.
The word is captain. He says, Kirk, you can't do that. The guy's like, captain? Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So you got into it with Megan though about some rule things though too.
Oh, him and Megan had some. We'll just leave it at that.
I don't like these games.
But you see, that's why I think these are hits because
These are hits, but it's because they're cooperative. They're not
Yes.
competitive. That is a competitive game. Unfortunately, in that style of game, for me, I have a history of really bad actors who have played them, who really stretch the rules
Oh yeah.
and make them unenjoyable messes. I kid you not. We're playing with a group of people, and we almost came to blows over categories. I kid you not. Now, that's not all on me, Dave. I am a perfectly reasonable person. But again, in a game like that, where it's like, hey, you can't give a clue using the word the.
I think it was people.
Yeah, people was a stretch. And I know you didn't do it deliberately, but Kirk, now the guy knows the answer, man. It's just things like that. I don't like those kinds of games because the rules seems like they're overly nebulous, and you can skirt your way around them real easy, even without saying Kirk.
Even like
you can skirt your way around real easy.
and what constitutes a guess? You get 5 guesses. Well, what if I made the same guess but a little bit different? Is that just the same guess repeated, or
Is it 5 words consecutive? Because I say Captain Kirk from Star Trek. I mean, there was there 5
What was
guesses.
really funny too is that the guy that was on your team said, "I'm going to write down the word okay," because whenever Dave starts to give a clue, he starts with okay, which is really just Dave saying, "Are you ready?" It says okay.
Yeah.
The other game we played on Saturday, I think we're done with Trapwords.
yes,
Yeah.
Your party games, go with these. Don't go with that. Was
Fun.
the Umbrella Academy. That was the one you mentioned at the very
Umbrella
beginning.
Academy.
Oh yeah.
It was a deck building, cooperative. You move your piece around the board, fight some of the monsters. I know nothing about the television show. Absolutely nothing.
It was also a bit of a deck builder.
And it was fun. God bless the guy who was teaching us the game. Didn't know the rules.
Mhm.
Nice guy though. Nice guy.
I guess if you're a fan of the television show, it looked like it was pretty thematic.
But it was, hey, can I do this? Yeah, okay. I was like, really? Because I just made that crap up.
I don't think I got enough feel of it to give a true judgment of the game. I have plenty of deck builders. If you're a really big fan of the Umbrella Academy, give it a look. But I would pass.
I'm a fan of the show. There was some callbacks to it, but I think the callbacks were more like not to the streaming series. I think it's on Netflix. It was more. It probably was back to like the comic book or
comic
something.
book.
Because it's
From that game, I thought the character you had was most interesting. It's like my guy was pretty straightforward and so. But your guy, you're like, well, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna get to do that.
Give extra action.
And
the controller.
that was really neat. And so Your guy was like on a different level than my guy was.
I couldn't remember tell you what my powers were.
I thought it was okay, but as deck builders go, again, if I'm not invested in that franchise, it's like, okay, I'm glad I played it.
Yeah, but it was a walk up, you know, so it was just we had some time to kill. We tried to schedule our stuff so we weren't like back to back stuff. We'd have 1 or 2 hours at least in between our events. So, you know, we're going through all these events. It seemed like a lot for us. I know you guys are, you know, some of you watching might be like, oh, we did all that in the first day, you know, but, you know, we tried to give ourselves time to go look at the vendors, check out other things.
Yeah, no, I think we did a good job of our schedule to not to overwhelm us with.
So we'd have time to just walk up and play.
Right. Was that it for Saturday? Was there something else we missed?
Well, the giveaway was the last thing on Saturday.
The giveaway was the last thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one game only the two of us played, but I think that was on Sunday.
That was Sunday. That was like Arcane something.
Arcane Power.
Yeah,
Arcane.
I'm convinced you miscounted your points.
All
right, let's get to Sunday. Sunday, so we played Sherlock, Case Connection. We played Turing Machine, which we walked up to. We weren't scheduled to do that one. We did the Marvel Legendary Team event. Marvel Legendary Team event. And we played this. We played Acropolis.
Yeah.
And we've also played that Arcane something other. Arcane something other was just a straight up. It was exactly like that other game. What was that? Rome Civilization. One of those.
Oh, Seven Wonders?
It was
no,
it wasn't Seven Wonders. It was the other one. I can't remember, but it was straight up just reskin.
The guy
to sorcery stuff.
The guy described it as like a Seven Wonders because you're passing the deck back and forth.
Yeah, that was incredibly similar. Let's start with that one. Dave and I played it. It was a 2-player only. Jason stood there and watched.
Which I felt bad about.
I felt bad about too.
I wanted to eat. I was hungry. I wanted to have a snack.
Well, then you should have gone and had a snack.
I did.
we played it. I wasn't feeling it. I felt like during the course of the game, I felt like Dave was stomping me because Dave just had piles of resources, and I've got like nothing. I'm like, Dave is way ahead here. And Jason said, he's like, you want me to yell, let's go? Like, right when he's about to score points, I'm like, yeah, just yell, it's time to go.
You did though.
And he did.
I did.
It was perfect timing. Right.
3 rounds, and as soon as the guy said, you know, because Dave kept looking at me, he's like, hey man, if you need to go, if you want to go, you know, we can move on. And I waited till the guy said, okay, time to score. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, but I'm convinced you miscalculated your score because you had so much and I had so little.
I may have.
It was just to fully explain. We tied. We had 36 points each.
Yeah,
and you just had so much. I'm like, there's got to be a miscount here.
Yeah, the gameplay is you start with like 6 cards and you decide to either play a spell using your resources or you could discard it to cast a spell. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you're building up your magic or you're actually using your magic. And the idea was to use your resources and play your spells so that you could get more gold, because I guess gold was worth the most.
Yeah, go figure.
And yeah, I'm not gonna. I had a pile of gold at the end of the game.
It's so much, and it's like
I don't know.
I'm watching in the course of the game, and Dave's just got piles of resources on everything, and I've got like 2. I'm like, okay, this is over, you know. And it's like, you know, it was an engine building game, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna do this. And Dave's really good at the engine building games. I never am. So Dave's like, bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, I got 2 things. And then we get to the end with 36 points. I'm like, there's no way. It's like, Dave had like 80. I'm going to
no.
He had like 80. I had 36.
I doubt that. But no, I thought it was interesting. I played games like it. I have games like it. So if you don't have a game like it, check it out. If not, it's very similar to many other deck builders and resource
managers. Also, the artwork on the box was beautiful.
That was very nice. Very pretty. Okay, Sherlock, Case Connection. Again, not what I was expecting.
No, not at all. I was expecting like True Detective type stuff.
Me too. I was looking to flex my investigator muscles on this one.
And that was based on the BBC.
It was.
The Sherlock show, which is fantastic. Sherlock. Watch it.
So it had Benedict Cumberbatch in it and the other dude.
Martin Freeman.
They're all over the cards, and that's where all the money.
It's based completely on the show,
and that's where all the money went for the development of the game, into the license, because you're drawing tiles and you're matching.
Yeah, essentially you start with a starting card, and it has symbols like red or yellow symbols or blue symbols on the outside, correct?
Around it, then you have to
draw cards or resources to match those symbols, and then try and make connections. Simple idea, could be fun. $40. No thank you.
Was that $40?
Yes.
I thought it was fun.
It's $14.99 for me. It's $14.99.
But again, like you said, 35 of it went to putting Benedict
Cumberbatch's
face on the box.
Get him a new cloak and fix his beard down.
$40.
Yeah, I thought that game was a lot of fun.
I thought it was fun too, but it was way outpriced. You're paying for the picture.
It was okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought
the tragedy that occurred in this game was there are two tragedies. The first one was there are 5 things on each card, and when it gets down to 1, you're supposed to refresh it. First, we misunderstood.
Yeah,
and we ended up out of whack with what was on the cards.
Yeah.
Then we misunderstood because we were refreshing all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happens when you play games early in the morning on Sunday. We messed them up.
Yeah.
The second tragedy is this. The goal is to get to 9 points, but then everybody gets another turn. So Jason got to 9 points.
winner.
No, everybody gets another turn. And
everyone except the person that just won.
right.
Yeah.
So one of the cards got refreshed. It was a magic card for 2 points on there. I claimed it.
Perfect draw.
It was perfect draw. It was the only card that could have done it, and so I stole the game. I feel bad about that. Jason's win percentage never very high.
Oh yeah.
Took that one from you. It was okay, but at $40, it's
Yeah, $40. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I apologize.
It feels in that $25, maybe even $30 range. I would have considered it, but at 40, no.
All right, then we wandered over. We played Acropolis.
That was one of the better
Acropolis.
games of the.
Or did we play Turing Machine first?
I did play Turing Machine first.
Want to talk about Turing Machine first? We can talk about that.
Chronologically.
Okay, let's talk about Turing Machine. We played Turing Machine. Turing Machine. Another one that was, hey, take my money. And they wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
So I disagree.
You disagree with?
I would not have bought that game.
No, I might have. I enjoyed it.
If you're not familiar with the Turing Machine, that's the Enigma device, the code breaker from World War II. Alan Turing, early computer guy. So it was like the early computers were punch cards, and so you had these cards, and you had to line them up, and you had to ask these, binary questions from the middle of the board, and you had to think a lot. It was very mentally taxing trying to figure out, okay, what question am I asking, and what is the answer that I'm getting, and then you use those to, by process of elimination, figure out what the 3-digit code is.
Right.
So you basically, if my guess is that the code is 111. So I'm going to pick out 3 1 cards.
You have to guess based on the cards on the table.
Yeah, and so then you look at them, and you match the 111 code against all these questions, and it'll give you yeses and nos, and you use that to decide.
Yeah.
What numbers are there.
3-digit code, and each number was color coded: blue, yellow, purple.
Yeah.
A logic puzzle. It's a logic puzzle game.
It is.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is this: I did enjoy it. I liked it. The numbers have to be 1 through 6. I enjoyed it, but it seemed to me that the challenge of the game was just figuring out exactly what I'm asking the cards to do.
Yeah.
Once you figure that out, I'm betting you could knock those codes out. We finished it in 5 turns.
Something like that.
I'm betting you could. It's just once you figure out what the cards are asking and how you're asking it, that's the main challenge. Once you do that, the codes are easy to figure out. And so it's one of those games that, to me, obviously there's thousands of playthroughs available in there.
Millions.
They said on their website.
Yeah, something like 7 million different codes or questions are the main thing. There's only 1,000 codes, but I think once you crack that code, what am I asking? What is the card asking of me? Once you get through that, that's the key to the game, and then it's easy to solve.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those games that's super deceptive. The first time I played, we're like, wow, there's so much in there. There's so much involved. I bet you play it through you play every card through one time, and then it probably becomes pretty darn easy. And introducing it to new people, the learning curve on that game is astounding.
Yeah.
If you're an engineer or 100% left brain,
I can't imagine attempting to introduce that game to our normal gaming group and getting anything except food thrown at me in return.
2 quick comments. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed logic puzzles, but I describe it as a niche game. You really, really gotta like logic puzzles, or you're just gonna try this game once and say, no thank you, I'm done with it.
I do.
Number 2, I think we mentioned this during the play, that you have to, when you're trying to figure out if your answer, is the yellow number less than 4, or is the purple number greater than the blue number? You line up the cards on your little stack, and you put them next to this like little another card that gives you the answer, yes or no. Green check is yes, or red X is no. And I made the mistake of not lining my cards up perfectly, and that screwed me up.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the entire game.
Yeah. It was like on the second, I think it might have been on the third turn. The guy like looked over Dave's shoulder. He's like, "You made a mistake," and he's like, "But you're right. That one mistake was the
because I didn't line up the card perfectly."
Yeah.
So instead of giving me a little contraption to slide my stuff in to make sure it lines up perfectly, I got to do it myself.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that too. There's a circular hole in the upper left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you really do would be to put a pencil through it or something through that so you can line it up exactly right.
Right.
And yeah,
it was all because these little check marks and X marks are
so
super tiny. So if you move it just a millimeter, it changes the complete answer.
It very well could, and in your case, it did.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I might have bought it at the time, so I'm glad it was out of stock, because the more I thought about it was just, I can't imagine trying to teach this to a group. And, you know, think about our normal group. They're good and smart guys, but they're not going to enjoy this game. And because they don't enjoy this game, they're going to blame me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm going to get beat up. So
I know it's very, very popular, but I call it a niche game.
Yeah. I like the people who are teaching it. They're very patient, and you'd have to be, because this is a pull your hair out kind of game. Again, the learning curve is like the cliffs of Dover.
Yeah,
it's
I much prefer this next game we played by the same.
There are no more games on the page. That concludes
Acropolis.
Acropolis, and there's one more after that. Acropolis. You enjoyed it. You speak about it.
Yeah, it took us in like 25 minutes. We learned and played through the game.
A 2-hour block.
It was a lot of fun.
Carcassonne.
You know, you're drawing these hexagons with three hexagons kind of stuck together, and each one has like a resource or something on it.
A landscape.
Landscape. You're just laying it down, matching them up. You know, and if you get a whole bunch of the blue ones together, that scores you points. If you get the orange ones on the edges, you get points. If you get the yellow ones or purple ones surrounded, you know,
purple
yellow
ones
ones
surround, yellow ones
right.
go along.
And so you had all these things to go through, and you know, it was simple. You had 5 to choose from. You know, you pick one, and then, you know, what was cool about this game is that you could stack them.
Yeah.
And the higher you stack them, the more your points are. You know, it gets your points get multiplied for each level that you go up for that thing, or for that particular color.
Right, and it was necessary to stack them because that was the way you got resources. If you stacked your piece on top of a couple of the quarries, you would get a couple resources which were used as money if you needed to purchase a tile that was further down the row.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I noticed in the box it literally said 8+, and I see why. Simple mechanics, simple to teach, match up the pieces, and score the points.
Yeah.
And we learned the game, like you said, and played the game in less than 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's all you need
and
to know
then
about
we were unwillingly ejected from the table.
Yeah, which didn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, we had 2 hours set aside.
We had a 2-hour block.
Finished in half an hour. They're like, oh, okay, the next people are here, so you guys got to go. Like, no, okay.
What bothered me about that is, if you're going to issue tickets for an event, the ticket says this.
Yeah.
This is what I expect. And yeah, it's a $2 ticket, but it's a $2 ticket.
We were ready to play another game immediately.
We probably would have played it 2-3 times.
Yeah, because they didn't have any for sale.
Yeah,
I would have beat him every time too.
He would have.
Notice I didn't mention that. He loves to talk about how.
But you did mention it.
Oh, just to prove a point. Just to prove a point.
That was a really fun game. Acropolis is awesome.
Acropolis was good.
I would have bought that one if they would have.
I would have bought. You see, that one I would have bought over Turing Machine immediately.
One thing I didn't like is the guy made a comment about, that's what you get for demoing games on Sunday.
On a Sunday.
It's like, no, that's what you get for being crappy at inventory. You know, bring more games. And
now I understand that you can bring 2,000 games and they'll all sell. I get it, but I do think. I think I mentioned this before. I know Dave disagrees, but I do think this: the cost of my ticket should also include a right to buy.
I don't disagree with that.
Which means there should be a game on hand. If I want to buy it right then, let me buy it right then.
I don't disagree.
Right to buy. So, you know, some people will buy them right away. Some people won't. But that's what I would like to include. Just, hey, here's a copy if you want it. We'll knock $2 off the MSRP because you already paid for the ticket. That engenders good feelings about that company, and I have your game. That to me makes sense.
It's not my fault that they run out of stock.
Yeah.
You have this scheduled on Sunday. You can't say it's our fault. You made the schedule.
Yeah.
You offered this on a Sunday. How is it my fault that you offered it and I chose to go?
At most, set 30, 40 copies of the game aside. And if you have confidence in your product, even when you take it back to the warehouse, you know it's going to sell.
Right.
So, I promise you'll make more sales that way. I promise you.
Wow.
And like I said, you knock $2 off my MSRP. Just, hey, your ticket just became a coupon. And then I'm like, wow, this company's cool. And then I'd be saying how great that company makes Acropolis is. Instead, I'm saying, man, they could have made an extra $40.
What was that company again?
I don't know.
No.
Don't remember.
I don't know.
And it's too bad because we don't have good things to say about the.
You had an opportunity, but whatever.
So our last event on Sunday was the Marvel Legendary Team event.
Oh, that's right. That's where I got my lanyard.
Lanyard.
Bringing us full circle.
The Marvel Legendary Team event.
Really cool guy that was running it for us. The judge was.
Guy was fantastic.
Cool
I liked him very much.
Best one there.
Yeah.
What can I say about it? It was Marvel Legendary, and there were some prizes involved. You didn't play against other teams. It was a pass-fail situation. Either you're successful or you're not successful.
Which I was shocked. I thought it was going to be against other teams.
I thought it was going to be against other teams too. And so I was kind of. I actually mentioned this to Dave. I said, we might actually have to play differently because we're going to be going for scoring points as opposed to just winning the game. And I said, so we might have to do it a little, really focus on just wiping these guys out, not necessarily going after the boss. But that wasn't what it was. It was just pass-fail. You weren't playing against other teams.
Yeah, beat the boss, you win.
Now, here is my issue. They gave us one of the hardest sets to do.
Correct.
And then they removed some of the help that the game provides.
Sidekicks,
which are very useful and very cheap. A lot of times in Marvel Legendary, you end up with 2 recruiting that there's nothing you can do with. Right. Well, what you can do with that is buy a sidekick. Well, they took them out. Why did they take them out? To make it hard. Well,
you're leaving out a bunch.
Go ahead.
They also took out the bonus or the improved bystanders.
Improved bystanders, yeah.
They made us play on the epic side for the mastermind.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. But to make it as hard as they possibly could.
Okay. So we won.
You could insert asterisks right here.
Well, the thing, the judge, I think, realized that everything was stacked against the players.
Not realized.
Go ahead. And he told us, okay, do this, and we're thinking, why did he tell us to do that? But then we didn't press because we're like, hey, this is what the judge told us to do.
He flat out told us. They purposely made it impossible because they didn't want people to win.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a crappy thing to do. If you're a company, you want to instill goodwill. You don't want people to walk away from GenCon in your game and say, "Oh, that kicked my butt."
I like that product so much. I like Upper Deck and the Marvel Legendary and the Legendary mechanism. I like it so much. But the first thing that irritated me about that was they had those 10-year anniversary cards.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to spend $200 to get them all. I have spent this much on your product, over a lifetime. If I can take a picture of it, can I prove that to you? It was just one of those things. I get it. You give them with the retail thing, or with the sales, but it just rang hollow to me. It's like I understand, but I'm your loyal customer, and I've spent several $100s on this game. A little bit of goodwill, and again, now you've rigged the game to defeat us. Where's the goodwill?
Well, like Jason said, though, our judge said, you know what? Do this, do that. For example, we heard it. I know you didn't.
I didn't hear it.
He told us to put all the Master Strikes on the bottom of the villain deck. Okay, I'll put all the Master Strikes on the bottom of the villain deck.
And then...
the rules are rules.
And then, whenever the villain deck needed a shuffle, I shuffled it.
Needless to say, those Master Strikes didn't move very much.
Shuffled it. And I didn't feel bad about it either. It's like, I am just balancing what you unbalanced.
Right. You
You know?
set us up to fail. You wanted us to lose. Well, we're going to
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get those scales a little back.
perfectly imbalanced, as all things should be. Our guy told us to do it. That's what you guys said. I didn't hear it, but okay.
So what was the prize for that? All this for
There was a
like
neoprene mat.
it wasn't like a $10,000
And then-
prize.
No.
There was a neoprene mat, which is nice. And then a couple of promo cards.
A collectible Loki card, a collectible Thor card.
Yeah,
But you don't
Which-
have those games that you can play those in.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Those
do?
games I do.
Oh, I
But
thought-
you can't play those cards in the game. I have the game, but there are 14 Thor cards. So I
Uh-huh.
can't add Thor card number 15.
No, you
That
swap
can't
it out
be
with
done.
one of the other.
I'd have to swap it
Oh.
out, and that's not happening. And then I found out, by the way, the promos that we got, they're like 8-year-old promos.
The Loki card?
Yeah. Those are like from the original play kit. It's like, okay, so, they got these things sitting in a warehouse in a box, and
They're
whatever.
holding on them like they're like the
Right. And it just,
Maltese Falcon.
to me, again, it's like, I wonder how much the company understands what the people who are demoing the game there for Marvel Legendary are doing to people. It's like you've deliberately made it hard. You're deliberately trying to, what I would term as cheat us.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to be able to think about your company? That can't be right.
Or even the product. It's like, it's
Right.
This is no fun just getting mollywopped.
It's no fun getting stomped. And so it was just that thing. It's like you stacked it against us. You took our help away. And so, maybe I forgot to draw a villain card most of the time. That might happen. And okay, here's a real funny story about it. Dave is sitting across from me. He's sitting where you are. And he sees what I'm doing. And he's just like this. Jason's on my right. He doesn't see nothing. He just and I'm reminding Jason, don't forget to draw your villain card.
Because the judge was sitting right across
there.
from me, so next to Dave, right across
Yeah,
from
but
me.
he was nose
He
deep in his
was
phone. He was
phone.
nose deep in his phone. He couldn't care less what we were doing. I could have bought cards that cost $7 for $4. He would not have cared.
No. And it was just one of those things. To me, it kind of damaged the experience. I still enjoyed it, but it kind of took some of the shine off of it for me. It's
Right.
just, it's like, you're gonna do that to us, just play straight up. You're honest with me, I'm honest with you. But that tells you guys what? If I want to cheat at games, which I don't. And so, it just kind of took the shine off it for me. And I know I don't want to blame Upper Deck the company, but the guy, whoever came up with those rules, investigate this man and say, why are you treating our customers this way? You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's not, you want good feelings about your company. Like Cosmos, I love that company. I was sad about this, but I still love the company because they make great stuff. And it's just, I love Fantasy Flight
Free
games because I
promo.
feel good about the company.
Some companies, go out of the way to tell their employees, look, if you see someone in our park, if you see someone in our store, if you see someone in our event, and it looks like they're having a bad day, or they just got an ice cream and it just fell. Look, you're empowered to go give them a free one. You're empowered to give them a free T-shirt or something. That goodwill will come back much more later on. But I
Absolutely.
find it hard to believe that Upper Deck, or was that the company or Legendary? I
This is
find it
Upper
hard to
Deck.
believe that they told their people, okay, you screw these guys.
Yeah.
You set it up, make sure they lose. Because these neoprene mats are coming out of your salary.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, now I'm not going to stop buying Legendary stuff, but is that within the realm of possibility? That someone has a negative experience, they blame the company, and then it's like, you know what, I'm not buying that stuff anymore. And I don't even want to win. I want to play, I want to enjoy it, I want to feel like I got a fair shot.
Right.
You stacked it against me, and so
Yeah.
I realize that is one of the pedestals of fraud. The justification. Justifying my poor behaviors. But, okay,
For a couple promo cards, come on.
I've compromised my integrity.
Yes.
So,
You should quit your job now.
that was GenCon for the G3 boardroom.
Oh, I just wanted to go into the one thing that
I have a quibble. I have it. Big time
do your
quibble.
quibble. Then
Oh, you want my quibble?
Then I'll do my regret.
Okay, here's my quibble. Okay, people will come to GenCon in costume, and it's all good. It's glorious. Some of these people do an awesome job. It's beautiful. But if you are going into a convention with 70,000 people and your costume sticks out this far, How do you think that's going to go? How are you going to navigate like this? So please come in, dress up. It's wonderful. Go to the costume thing, have it judged, stick it in a locker, stick it in a bag, and then come join us on the convention floor. Because you cannot walk through a convention with your wings.
Oh, speaking of,
Was that necessary?
Yes.
speaking of bags, I'm a big fan of the anime Demon Slayer. And in Demon Slayer, the main character is walking around with this box on his back, and it's got his sister in it, who's a demon. And it's
Six demon bag.
It's this big box, about this big, and the show floor was full of these people, these huge,
Gaming backpacks. That make them 4 times as long as they normally are. And I took them right in the face.
Yeah, these people do not wear these things around the house to practice wearing them. No, they put them on for GenCon, and they have no idea that they're back there, and they're just bumping people over every time they turn. They don't have.
And again, it's all good. I love board games too. I just don't want to eat them. So come on, just have a little bit.
If you're hungry enough, I think you would.
I could.
Yeah. Well, those wingspan eggs look like little mints. They look delicious.
They do look tasty.
Go ahead.
It's just have a little bit of knowledge where stuff's going. I bought Too Many Bones. I'm carrying around. Those of you who have Too Many Bones, it's a 15-pound box. And the only person I hit with it was myself.
It's lightweight compared to Gloomhaven.
It is.
Yeah.
But bounce it off your ankle. You'll be upset about it. But I was very conscious of what I was doing. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hit people. So just know what you're doing and just be more careful.
I have a quibble.
Go ahead.
Oh, I love a Dave quibble. Is it about my quibble?
No, I think we all agree on this one.
Okay. You agree on the bag and the wings, though. Go ahead.
Not necessarily.
Can't count on my gang.
No, I do. I'm just giving you a hard time. I have no problem keeping people safe. I am fully vaccinated. I have no problem making sure that those who come are fully vaccinated to keep people safe.
Yeah.
You have this rule in place. You know that every single person in this convention has to show proof of their vaccination.
Yeah.
You have one room taking care of it.
Oh,
So thousands and thousands of people in the same line,
of thousands of
all
people.
trying to get to one spot. Yet you make every single person have to go through this loop. You can open up a second room, a third room maybe. No, one room. Oh, you had 6 windows there. I know.
Yeah.
Thousands, tens of thousands of people going to the same place at the same time, all having to do the exact same action, and you put one place to take care of it.
Yeah.
That was a giant, giant mistake.
Now, there were
we got there
counted
and
12 people there. It was moving quick, but
we got there and the line was so long that it was closed. Like we're capping the line.
Yeah.
And so
You couldn't even get in the line.
we went to get something to eat and we got back and we were able to get in the line and
It was still an hour and a half wait, which is not like unbearable.
It was moving,
but it was so ridiculous that you made sure that everybody was vaccinated, but you didn't come prepared to make sure that you could take care of it.
it's another one of those things that could have just been handled so much better.
It
so
was
much
a
better.
giant miss on the Gen Con. But of
So much
course,
better.
they'll look at the numbers and say, well, we
did
still got
just
we
fine.
got almost 60,000 people here. I think we're
Count
okay.
that box office.
yeah.
All right, what's your regret?
No, my only regret was I was a little bit bummed that I didn't get to connect with the board game community as much as I wanted to.
You told them in the last video to leave you alone.
I mean, I love being there with these guys. It was great. I game with these guys all the time, but I found that most of the things that we went to, we were the only 3, plus the maybe one random person that we were playing with. And I just wanted to kind of meet more people. I wanted to sit at a table with 5 other people that were from all around the country, and then that could have just talked to them, and got to know them, got their perspective. And it's not Gen Con's fault. I mean, it's not our fault. We didn't know what to expect. I was just a little bit bummed that to say it bluntly, these are the only guys that I was hanging out with and getting to know for these 4 days.
But you see the other side of that coin, we talked about this, but the other side of that coin is that when we schedule things, you schedule individual events for yourself to go do.
I guess I
And then
thought
you go
there'd
meet
be
people.
more people at these playthroughs. That instead of us 3 playing a game, it'd be 6 people, playing a game.
It depends on the game, but yeah, I mean, at Swords and Sailors, which was terrible game.
Yeah, there was.
We had
yeah.
4 people there that we've never met before, and unfortunately, the game was so bad we never really had an opportunity to interact with them. Even though we got that uncle and nephew from I want to say Cincinnati, 2 great guys. I mean, so.
But that game, we were swimming. We couldn't keep our heads above water. But we'd walk around Gen Con and you'd see people like playing like a game of wolves and villagers, werewolves and villagers, and just walking by and there'd be a bunch of a group of 10, a group of 10, a group of 10, and that would have been. I don't think I would have wanted to play those games exactly, but it would have been nice to have had more interaction. I mean, I guess what we could have done is we could have all just signed up for different things, but I wouldn't want to do that. I want to be with you guys, but with other people.
That's why I wanted to do the D&D thing, because I think it had like a total of like 7 or 8 people in that, so that definitely would have given an opportunity to meet more people.
But we only had 1 extra guy.
Yeah, we had 1 guy, Matt.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to that. Hey, some gamers from all over, but
and James's kid who really likes his chili cheese fries.
I couldn't wait for those chili cheese fries to go off the table. The smell was just bothering me. Like, you gotta do something with these fries.
I'll say one last quick thing. It's really simple. If you are board game enthusiasts, it is. I don't want to use that word because I don't want to offend anybody, but make sure you get there at least once in your life. Get there at least once in your life. I think it's well.
No. We can't. We're not telling anyone to go to Gen Con, unless Gen Con,
If you'd like to sponsor us, go to Gen Con in 2023.
And then we'll tell people. Then we'll tell people to go.
It's worth the trip.
Yeah,
it's worth the trip.
It was great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
You can spend 2 weeks there and still not run out of things to do.
And I love you guys.
I want to thank everyone for watching our retrospective on Gen Con. We played a lot of games. Probably could have played more, but I think we played the perfect amount. If you were at Gen Con, let us know in the comments what your experience was. Did you play more than us? Are we lightweights? Did you play much less than us? Are we insane for how many games we played? And I'd love to hear some of your, your quirkiest, funniest story about the 4 days.
You mean like Slaw Juice?
Slaw Juice.
Or Stegosaurus 7?
Yes.
You found it, didn't you?
Inside jokes are the best.
What do you mean, Snake?
We'll see you next time.